two. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. That chocolate crispy taste gonna make your day. And wherever you go, you'll hear the people say, give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Excuse me! Taxi!
Come on, what are you doing? This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Well, what the heck is going on in the world? There's nobody better than Jack Keane, a four-star general, and he's dedicated his life to America. Well, General, what the heck is going on? What's the pulse of the situation?
Well, that's a great question. Well, obviously, we're heading towards negotiations. I think the Iranians are the Iranians here. They promise a lot and deliver little, and they lie and cheat. I know the president certainly is aware of that. The team going into negotiations obviously is aware of that, and we'll see what comes of it. In my own mind, number one, the Iranians shut down the Straits of Hormuz, and they did that for two reasons. The first one was to get a ceasefire, and they got the ceasefire. The second one is to demonstrate by continuing to control the Straits of Hormuz, they are communicating to all of the allies in the region who are providing the oil that goes through the Straits of Hormuz, that they, despite all of the attacks that the Americans and the Israelis have delivered on them, they are still here. Not only that, they are still able to impose their will on the region that has actually global impacts. That is what this is about. So given the seriousness of what I just displayed, yes, we're going into negotiations. We have to do something about that. We cannot let that stand. In my view, there's two options. One, the oil that the Iranians are sending out of the region in ships to China, to India, to Pakistan, to Turkey, those are the primary oil that is being shipped, not necessarily on their ships, but heading to those countries. They use other ships, other flagships to do it. When it gets to the Gulf of Oman, we should stop it right there and hold them and don't let them get through. The president should call President Xi and tell him, this is what I'm going to do. I need you to call the Iranians and tell them they have to give up control of the Straits of Hormuz, or I have to do this. It's not something I want to do, but something I'm going to do. And I think that has to happen. That's option one. The Iranians, if that is done, have options themselves. What are they going to do as a result of that? One, they can start conducting attacks on Gulf oil fields, UAE, Saudi Arabia, the Qatar natural gas fields, anything, plenty of things to attack. Number two, they can just stalemate us and say, let's see who blinks first. Because the president has all of this economic pressure on him and this political pressure, which they believe is the reason why he went to the ceasefire and stopped combat operations. So let's just continue that and squeeze him.
Now,
what do the Americans have to do? Let me finish a little bit. What the Americans can do if that continues is that we just go in and forcibly open up the Straits of Hormuz and start moving the ships through ourselves. Listen, people in America are overthinking how difficult that is. That is not as difficult as people think. I can't go into the details of it, but I've spoken multiple times to the commander of our troops at Central Command. I've dealt with other people on this. This is very, very doable.
Can we flatten that strait?
Here and now. At some point, we are going to open the Straits of Hormuz. We're still going to do negotiations to see what the Iranians really have to offer. Is there something real there, or is this fabrication so they can just delay what's happening and put off returning to combat operations. That is the pulse of where we are.
Can we flatten that Strait of Hormuz, or is it too much land?
No, we don't flatten it. We've already taken out all the defense that's in the area. Listen, moving 4 or 5 ships, 2 escort ships and maybe 1 or 2 ships through the Straits of Hormuz is not as difficult as people think. First of all, we've layered the defense out there. We've stripped them away of a lot of capability, but miles away from that, 100 miles, 200 miles, even more than that, we have aircraft out there, and we also are flying drones out there to see what's coming. And if there's anything coming, we interdict it before it even gets even close to the Straits of Hormuz. And then when it gets closer, we have Apache helicopters. We have A-10 fighters that do close air support, and they're very good at it because they fly close. We have drones all over the place. And listen, this is a relatively small physical space. Think of 4 or 5 ships in line going through the Straits of Hormuz. That doesn't even compare to the ships at sea that we have in that whole area and region that take up considerably more space. What did the Iranians do? They fired hundreds of drones at them. They fired ballistic missiles at them. They fired anti-ship missiles at them. They've done everything they can to hit them. They haven't hit a single one of them.
Wow.
Okay?
And
so
General,
we're overthinking this problem, believe me.
Tell me, the Hezbollah, how close is Israel to wiping them out or making significant damage to them?
Very good question. What has happened here, when Hezbollah came into the war, the Israelis made up their mind once and for all, this is it. During the 12-day war, you saw what they did. They decapitated the leaderships in one of the most brilliant operations I've seen with the pages, etc., and killing Nasrallah, deeply buried underneath an apartment building and took it all down after telling the people to get out of it. And hopefully most of them did. And decapitated that leadership and destroyed tens of thousands of their missiles. But when the war ended, it's a known fact, they had tens of thousands of rockets, principally missiles also, but not as many short-range rockets. And what they did, every time they entered into a ceasefire with them over a year ago, and every time they tried to move stuff down, the Israelis, over the last year in 25 and into 26, conducted hundreds of airstrikes against their opportunities to reestablish themselves in the South. And then finally, during the 12-day war, by the way, they never fired a shot. Think about that. I asked the Israelis, what is going on 4 days into the war? Why hasn't Hezbollah fired a shot? And they said, sir, I said, are they out of missiles? And they said, no, sir. The reason is that they don't have the will to do it because they're not sure Iran is going to survive. I said, boy, that is really interesting. And they never did. So fast forward to where we are right now. They did fire a shot, and they fired actually 6,000. Listen to what I said, 6,000 rockets and missiles against Israel in the last week plus at the insistence of the Iranian regime. Netanyahu and his team have made up their minds. This is it. This is over. We are going to finish these guys once and for all. And that's what they were about doing south of the Litani River, where all their infrastructure.
Is that still going on every day? Is that going on every day?
Every single day. They told the people to move out. You move out because we're going to destroy everything that's physical in terms of infrastructure. Buildings, residences, everything that exists in the South. We're not going to give the Hezbollah the opportunity to come into people's homes, dig tunnels under these homes, and storage sites for weapons and missiles and the rest of it. It's over. They're going to take all that area that they occupy, what they have to be in, to range the Israelis. That's what they were about. And then the ceasefire came, And what has happened, they were also bombing Beirut because the Hezbollah leadership and other people in Beirut, and also there is some ability from Beirut and some underground storage sites to fire into Israel. The president has asked the prime minister to check it back a little bit, and so they're not going into Beirut, but they're continuing their operation south of the Litani River. They are not going to stop until this is over once and for all. I agree with this 100%. So that is what has taken place there, and the Israeli troops are on the ground again, and airstrikes are going on by the hour, not by the day, by the hour.
General Jack Keane, that is the best report I've heard all week. Thank you for doing an excellent job on telling the American people what the heck is going on, and that is the best report. We really have a better pulse of the situation. And thank you for everything you've done for America and continue to do for America, General.
One more. Can I add one more thing,
Absolutely.
John? We're going into negotiations. We know these guys lie and cheat, or likely telling them before they got there, listen, we're really wanting to make these concessions, and we'll make these concessions on this, and this. Even if they agreed to do this, even if they sign a piece of paper to do it, we can't trust them. It's all about putting off the ceasefire as long as it can be. And here's where my faith is. My faith is, I know the negotiators, I got that, and they're going to do their work. But my faith is in who? The backstop to all of that is President Trump. He knows they're liars and cheats. He knows what he's getting into. And how do I know that? Because I talked to him about it a little over an hour ago. No conversation do I reveal. It's his conversation. But I know the man. Yes. And he's never going to accept a bad deal. Under no circumstances, even his guys bring back and say, look, this looks pretty good. Maybe we just need to do this, and this. And he's not going to take a bad deal. He has negotiated with these guys more than any president has. He knows who they are, and he's the only president that ever recognized how much of a threat Iran is, not only to the region, but to the American people. And I'm going to take these guys down. And no other president ever stepped up like this. So I have confidence in America's backstop. And who is that? Donald J. Trump.
I believe you, and thank you. And I know President Trump a long time, and the way you're saying it is exactly the way I know him too. Let's pray for America. And I'm glad we have Donald J. Trump as our president, because nobody else has the testicles to do that. And
let's pray.
Yes.
Let's pray for him as well.
Yes, big time.
I pray for him
big
every
time.
day. I really do, because there's nobody else can replace him right now.
General, thank you. Thank you, Jack, so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
yeah,
John.
thank you, my friend. Thank you.